help a teacher to build their skills in the classroom, then that's automatically going to translate into helping the students achieve.
Working with teachers and empowering them to be the instructional leader of that classroom, empowering them to be leaders of teachers, encouraging them to be creative, to think outside the box, to try some new things, because what we were doing before wasn't working, you know, so let's try things differently.
The decisions regarding instruction, and some of those are popular and some of those are not popular, but you kind of use as your compass what's best for kids, you know, what's going to help improve their academic achievement.
My purpose was to be an instructional leader, and so that's why I'm really excited about this new model, because it forces us to be instructional leaders. We have to be in the classroom evaluating, so it's actually exciting for me because I'm going to be forced to do what I got into administration to do to begin with.
There was nothing that was ever brought up where anybody looked at a rubric and said, well, that's not good teaching, or that's not something we should be doing. Everything that's in those rubrics is good teaching, and it's something that we all either do or aspire to do.
It helps us stay on target. It helps us focus on what really is essential. And so if we've been out of the loop, educationally speaking, from an instructional delivery model as a practitioner, this allows us to go back and look at the things that really have been proven to impact learning and engage students.
Okay, let me give an example. Academic feedback. I think we have spent years trying to make sure that the kids felt good about themselves, that if they gave the right answer, we said, hey, great job, that's a perfect answer. You know, giving all those motivational, rah-rah, cheerleader type things. That's not academic feedback. You know, that is motivating students. And I had probably more teachers go, wow, I never thought about it that way before.
I mean, it doesn't, within the rubric, say anything specific about math, about language arts. Effective teaching is effective teaching. Now, some of the activities that one might do in language arts are different from what you would do in physical education class, but it's still group work. It's still communications with to students what the expectations are.
Good teaching is good teaching. It doesn't matter what course it is. I mean, we saw it in PE that it happened. I think you saw one that just did an outstanding job. You know, a kid's struggling with something, they stop, they come over, here's how you do it.
There are subtle nuances in every indicator. If you look at the proficient column and you look at standards and objectives, there are things that a teacher needs to understand, as well as an administrator. When you look at those 6 things, yes, these 5 are important, but there's one that trumps them all. And that's the one that says, was student mastery visible? And I think to understand the rubric at that level and understand all the verbiage inside it, it's not going to happen in 1 year.
Be patient. It takes a lot of time in the beginning. You know, going in and we're all used to scripting because we've done it under the old model. However, our scripting has to improve. We've got to capture a lot more data instead of just the essence of the lesson.
Know what you're looking for when you go in, because you've become familiar with the indicators. Then you start finding after 30 or 40 or 50 observations, you know where things are going to happen almost sequentially in certain parts of the indicators.
I'm so proud of you. Excellent. Well,
I definitely saw examples where teachers were forced to be more creative in the classroom. Higher order thinking activities that put more on the students' end of it rather than their own. So I think they had to become more introspective as well, you know, reflective on their teaching.
It's here to support them in their growth as teachers. And also, it's comforting, especially to high-flying teachers, to actually say, hey, here's an area I can work on. Because if they are a high-flying teacher, they're going to want to improve. And so this gives them an opportunity to focus on something rather than say, okay, I got through this year's evaluations. This is an entirely different flavor.
Explain to the teachers that this is something we were walking through together. We were partners, and we were going to make sure that by the end they would recognize what sort of professional development they really needed to become a stronger teacher.
Pushed into being the instructional leader of a school again. And it's a good thing. That's why we all got into this. No one got into this to deal with discipline. They got into this to be instructional leader, and this forces us to be that instructional leader. It forces us to adjust our calendars around it. So to be upward-minded about that, it is going to take a lot of time, but it's going to be incredibly positive.
That's why it is such a good mechanism for growth, not just for the teacher, but also to impact the achievement levels of students. When we really have it fine-tuned and have a good understanding of the rubric and its implementation, we're going to see great changes and great gains.